Hello and welcome back to GameSpot's coverage of E3 2018. My name's Oscar Deus and I'm joined by Creative Director of FIFA 19, Matt Pryor. Matt, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm great to be here.
How's the show been for you so far?
It's been great. It's been great getting feedback. It always is bringing it to consumers. We've just done EA Play and had a lot of people playing the game and all getting all the good feedback on that. So yeah, it's always great to bring our hard work to the masses.
Awesome, yeah. And we finally saw the reveal of FIFA 19 on stage at EA's press conference.
Yep.
But not a lot was really said on stage, so tell us more about what we can expect. What's new this year in FIFA 19?
Yeah, so there's lots new, and we'll be rolling out more information as we kind of head up to launch. But for now, here at E3 and EA Play, the main thing is obviously Champions League. So the Champions League's license is back in FIFA. It's been gone a few years, and we're very proud to bring it back because obviously at FIFA we pride ourselves on authenticity, and the lack of the Champions League was obviously something that was missing. And it is, and always has been, one of the most requested features from our community, so it's always great to be able to give the community what they want. So yeah, so we're very proud to bring that back, and when we did bring it back, we wanted to bring it back in such a way that it affected all users irrespective of what mode they play, because one of the interesting things with FIFA is there's very different users within the game because there's just so much in the game. So you have the foot user, career mode user, journey user. So when we brought the Champions League back, we wanted to bring it throughout the mode. So we have a standalone mode where you can just dive in and play the Champions League. And that can be the authentic version, or if you are a user whose team does not make the Champions League, so maybe Bristol City, you can actually put Bristol City in the Champions League and live that dream. I know, I'm a Man City fan, and for many years we never got close. Now we do, thankfully. So that's the standalone Champions League mode. We also have it in career mode. So now career mode is the fully authentic experience, and is the most authentic it's been in many years. And it's not just the Champions League that comes with the UEFA license. We also get the Europa League and the Super Cup. So career mode has all those licenses. We also have the journey. So it's the final year of the Alex Hunter story, the end of the trilogy, and part of the narrative arc of that will be him chasing the ultimate in club football, and that's the Champions League glory. And then we also have it in foot. So we will have foot items, live events based on the real world Champions League, because one of the beauties of foot is that connection with the real world. You know, what happens in the real world is reflected in foot. So we'll be able to do more of that through Champions League. And then the other piece of the Champions League is not just kind of bringing the license, but doing it justice. The UEFA guys have created an amazing brand with the Champions League, and if you've been lucky enough to have been to a Champions League game, the atmosphere is very different. They create a unique atmosphere. So for us, it was hugely important to create that. So we've obviously got the iconic anthem, all the trappings, all the regalia that goes with the Champions League match, the night lighting. But also we've got a brand new commentary team, which really kind of differentiates it from a regular game. So not only do you get the visual difference, you also get the audio difference. So we're delighted to announce Derek Ray and Lee Dixon will be the Champions League commentators. So as a complete package, we've kind of covered everything. So yeah, we're very proud to be bringing the Champions League back to FIFA.
Awesome, yeah, and that really adds to FIFA's sort of the cosmetic side of it, which FIFA does so well and has done for many years. But what can people who have played hundreds of hours of FIFA 18, what's changed on the pitch? Yeah,
so I mean that's the other part, the important thing. Obviously, the big announcement here is the Champions League license, but fundamental to FIFA, always has been, always will be, is gameplay. That at its core, what is most important in FIFA. So again, we'll be rolling out more information around gameplay, but the features we're looking at here, there's a few of them. So we've got advanced touch system, which is an all new system of the user touching the ball, trapping the ball, striking the ball, and as you can imagine, that's a pretty common thing in football. So a radical rewrite of that system has implications throughout the game. And then from the user perspective of what that actually means to them, it means more authenticity, a lot more variety of animations in the way they trap and touch the ball, a lot more fluidity, and perhaps most importantly, a lot more responsiveness. So that you'll feel that system, you'll feel the change in that the responsiveness. And a couple of additional features we've been able to implement because of this rewrite of that system is misguided trapping. So you can now receive the ball, look to trap one way and go the other way. So it's kind of a bit of a mind game with your opponent, and it works on the AI as well. And the other one is an all-new flick system. So as you receive the ball, you can now use the right stick to flick it in various different directions. So and also flick it up to score like the wonder goals, the volleys. So that's another level of control, which really kind of opens up the game and adds a new dimension. We've also got dynamic tactics. So this is a complete rewrite of the tactic system. So now not only will they be more obvious, so when you change your tactic, you will visually see that on screen. They're also much more customizable now. So you can literally dive in and customize your tactics to suit your style of play, the team you use. I'm a Man City fan and we've got pacey wingers, so now I can customize my tactics to really make use of them. So there's now a level of depth to tactics like never before. So if you're always losing to teams because they're coming through the middle or down the wings, you can now have a lot more ammunition in your arsenal to kind of combat that. So a lot more to make your experience very unique to you. And there are also quick triggers in the game, so you no longer have to pause the game and go into it. So a lot on the tactics side. We've also got a feature called time finishing. So this is an optional shooting mechanic, so you can shoot in FIFA as you always have done. But now we have an additional mechanic whereby if you press the shot a second time and you time it right, you will get additional power, accuracy and curve. So it's very much a risk-reward mechanic, because the alternative, if you don't hit it correctly, is, you shank it into row Z kind of thing. So the visual cue to time it correctly is the player's foot hitting the ball. So if you time it as the animation triggers, you will get that accuracy. And it's not an always goal by any stretch of the imagination. All it is that additional level of power and accuracy if you get it right. So for me personally, I only tend to use it when I'm having a bit of a hit and hope. It's a bit speculative. Gareth Bale's second goal in the Champions League final would have been a good example of where you might want to use that. Obviously, you can't guarantee Karius is in goal, but that kind of thing, right? You wouldn't want to use it 5 yards out with an empty net. So it is that little element of risk reward and a little bit more control for those users that want to use it. And then we've also got real player motion technology, which is a system we introduced in 18, which is a more fluid, player unique system that gives an authenticity. It's the system we use to create running styles. So Ronaldo runs like Ronaldo, Sterling runs like Sterling, that kind of thing. So we've now applied that to a lot of other systems in the game. So you get that player personality throughout the game, not just in the running motion. So that's another big one. And the final one we're discussing here is 50-50 battles. And that's a rewrite of situations which happen throughout the game. When there's a ball that's free, two players are going in for it. There's now a whole new system that determines what happens there. So again, from a user perspective, what you will see is much more realistic physical collisions, much more realistic and organic ball physics as a result, because it's non-determined. It's not canned or in any way. It's determined with the player's mass, the player's angle, his attributes, and then what happens to the ball is the real-time physics system. So again, the user feels much more organic and free football. So a lot of systems across the board, more to follow, but it's another big year for gameplay.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like that. And will those improvements specifically to the tactics side of it and the shooting, does that apply to the AI as well? Am I going to? I want to be able to notice the difference between playing, say, Man City or Barcelona and playing against Stoke City.
Absolutely.
Sorry to all the Stoke fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's another key thing. We've given more tools to the user to customize their team to how they play. The same is true of our data guys who kind of showcase how other teams play. So we will apply real-world tactics, so you get the pressing from Man City, etc., etc. So again, it adds a level of authenticity not just to the user and their kind of freedom of how they want to play, but also to the real-world teams and how they will play. So perfect example you did right there. Playing Stoke will feel very different to playing Man City.
And I'm personally more of an offline person.
Yep.
But I know there are a lot of Ultimate Team fans out there as well.
Yep.
Is there anything more you can tell us about Ultimate Team or the journey or career mode as well? Because, again, that's just my personal preference.
Yeah, no, all very great modes. And unfortunately, we're not talking too much about them here. We want to save some ammunition for the rollout towards launch. So, the journey, we can divulge that it's the final chapter in Alex Hunter's story. There will be a lot more to tell you about that as we roll out. A lot more surprises. I think where we take the story, everyone will be kind of surprised and delighted. It's a very interesting narrative that we've done and interesting options within that. Foot, as I say, more will be divulged with Foot as we roll out. We've got the Champions League, which obviously brings a lot of excitement and again, a lot more opportunities kind of connected to the real world. And then career mode is another one. We will have further announcements. But obviously, one of the big ones for that is the inclusion of the Champions League and how authentic that makes that mode.
Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing more about it. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, guys. But for everything else on FIFA 19 and for everything else from E3 2018, stay tuned to GameSpot.com.